Hi, tonight I'm going to show you how to bring in the attendees from a meeting. If the meeting sends you a list of attendees, it's probably going to be in an Excel workbook, Excel spreadsheet. So you want to bring all those contacts into your Keap. But sometimes some of those attendees will already be in your Keap. And so you don't want to make a duplicate record. Even if you did, I know how to fix it. But let's say you're not going to make a duplicate record. We're going to try not to, right? Okay, so on this left side, I brought in the list of attendees from the meeting, and I went through and highlighted in yellow all the people that I already have in my, they're already contacts in my Keap. Now, this spreadsheet could have information about them that I don't have, especially if this spreadsheet could have information about them that I don't already have in my Keap, especially if they changed anything or added some interesting tidbit, added a website or something like that. Then I would want to go back manually and check those. There's no way to automate that. So over here, we have the list of attendees. And the ones in yellow are already in my Keap database. So for right now, I'm going to hide them so they won't be included in this. Import. So we're going to, while I'm doing this, explain. First thing we need to do is format this information here the same way that Keap reads contact information. So there is a spreadsheet that I have that I can share with you that tells you exactly how to format your contacts so they're going to go smoothly and seamlessly right into your Keap CRM. Okay, so I can provide that if you need that. And we're just going to hide all these people that are already in my Keap. This is, of course, a manual process. Everything about automation is not automatic, right? You have to prepare data to be used in the way that you want to use it. And sometimes that takes a human touch. Actually, quite a bit of the time, you have to make decisions about the data. That's a human touch. And you do have to sometimes do something manually. If you do get someone in your Keap CRM that's a duplicate, we know how to fix that too. So here we have name, phone number, social media platform, services. I'm going to put this out here a little bit. Company name, website, types. So company name, website, and the city and state they live in. Now, I've already done this one time, so I know that the city will pull in, but the state won't because we don't have the whole address. But having the city, I have found to be pretty helpful because many cities you can tell what state they're in just by the name of the city because it's a fairly large metropolitan area that you've heard of. So here's what we have. Now, the spreadsheet that I have that's going to help us bring this in smoothly is just a template that is pre-formatted with the way that I have to save it again. Oops. Okay. Yeah. It's wanting me to save it again. Okay, so it's telling me that you don't want to save it in a CSV. comma, CSV format. Yep, it's being saved in a CSV right here. So we don't want that. So we're going to save as. I didn't realize it was doing that. There we go, right here. We're going to save this as an Excel workbook. Okay. Now we're going to be safe. So here's your sample information. Mr. Test M Test. First name, middle, initial, last name. Date of birth. We don't have that information. If we don't have it, it's no problem. Okay? It's not gonna hurt anything. So we're gonna come over here and collect this information that we do want to bring in. We gotta make sure and go all the way out to where we want to be. I'm gonna carry the state in just so you can see what happens. And I know it's not gonna populate because I've seen it before, but this is what you would do. So I'm gonna do what you would do. All right, so I'm gonna drop it down a couple lines away from this test information, and you'll see why in a minute. So I'm going to paste it in there. Okay, so it just went into these first 6 or 7 columns, which is fine. Oh, and it brought over the people that I already have. So thankfully, I had them highlighted. So now I can just delete them because I don't want them in here at all. This is a different spreadsheet from the original. So I'm not deleting them from Susan's spreadsheet that she sent me. Those are still right here, and they're hidden back here. So we're working in this spreadsheet. This is the template that is going to help us bring these contacts straight over into my Keap CRM without me typing all this stuff in here. Not only is retyping something time consuming, and time is very valuable, but every number, every letter you type, you take a chance on making a mistake. And that could be critical when it's a cell phone number or an email address. It could be a critical mistake. And that would just literally prevent you from contacting that person. And that's the whole purpose of putting them in there, right? So I like to, when there's enough data, certainly one person, I put them in manually. 2 or 3 people, put them in manually. Once you get close to 10 or more, I think it's worth putting them in there this way. So their name. So I'm going to move all this stuff over one space, and I'm going to show you a pretty cool trick in Excel. So we're going to cut that. I'm going to move them over here so we have room to work in this column right here. We want this column empty because we want to separate Anna from Atibet. We want to separate Aubrey from Arby because in Keap, you have to have the first name. You can leave the middle name empty. You have to have the last name here. But it's all in one space right here. It's all in one column the way it came over, which is not going to be a problem because we know what to do about it. So we're going to take this information, and Excel has a feature that's called text to columns. I think it's in the data. I don't use it really often, so I have to find it. There it is, text to columns. So you're taking the text in this one column and you're putting it in multiple columns. Speaking of that, somebody has 3 names, so I realized we do need to make another room. We need to make enough room for all of the words to have a place to live. Otherwise, they're going to wipe out some data that's here. If we didn't have room for these 3 names, a name here and a name here, it would wipe out whatever was there, right? So we don't want that. Okay, so we have 3 empty columns. So now we're going to go text to column. I hope I'm not confusing you. So we're going to take the text in this column, and each word is going to split out into a separate column, right? There's only one person that has 3 names, but it's important. And if you had 100 or 200, you wouldn't be able to manage it any other way. So this is actually a little piece of automation that we're going to use. See this. I just realized I know for sure I have Donna Blevins, so I'm going to just delete her line because I don't want to bring her in again. All right, text to columns. Here we go. Now, it's asking if we want to just use the space as the separator, which is what we want to do. This other option is pretty cool. It's a fixed width. So if you know, let's say you're working with a zip code +4, you could say 5 digits and then drop everything else, and then you'd still have your original zip code, for example. But we're going to go to limited. Next, we're going to use space as the separator. That's going to cause everything to go in a different column. See that? Now, here it's C. Simone Rivers. It put the C in the first column, Simone in the second column, Rivers in the third column. Once in a great while, you will have something like that. You'll just have to fix it. It's just a manual fix, so don't worry about it. So here we go. Next, this is giving you an example of how it's going to break out. It looks fine to me, so we're going to finish. And boom, shakalaka boom, there it goes. We did it. Now we have Charlene Sparks, we have Dottie Scott, we have all of these people with their first name here, second name here, which is what we wanted. Now we knew we were going to have to manage a situation with a couple people. And here's Shamika. Here's, okay, Yvonne had her middle initial there, and it's actually in the right place, her middle initial. All of these other people, we need to move their last name over here. So one simple fix, we're going to put Simone back over here where she belongs. Oh, can't paste it. Cut. Paste. Okay. Simone. Rivers got to come over here. Nope. Rivers is going to stay there. We're going to cut. Paste. Only because, why are we doing this? Last name goes here in the last name column. See that? Last name goes here. Almost everyone's last name is here, so we're just going to cut them and put them over here. This may seem like it's complicated, but it's really not. Once you do it once or twice, it's not a problem. For my purposes, in my CRM, I don't need that part of her name because she goes by Shamika Agun. I've met her and I know that, so I'm going to not worry about that other name. This one's hyphenated, so it came over just fine as one name. And here we go. We're going to cut and paste these other ones, and there it goes. So I'm just going to get rid of the A here on Yvonne. Now, first name is in the first name column. See that? Last name is in the last name column for everybody. This column is their title. It has to be their title, even if it didn't come over that way. So where do we have their title? Wow, that's a long. Where do we have their title? This is their company name here. I know this because Emily Shull's company name is Me, Myself, and Money. This is Another Level Living with Heather Tucker, and I know that's her company name. This is her title. So all these titles need to go over here where the phone number is, right? So we need to put the phone number in the right place anyway. So we're going to cut these. So it's a cut and move. We're cutting and moving the data from where it's coming in over to where it should be. We want to find up here cell phone number. Okay. Now it only calls it phone 1 and phone 2. So we know we already picked up the phone numbers, and we're going to just paste them right here. right where they belong. See that? Now they're in the right column, phone 1. And we come back over here. We're working with this title column. We know this is their title, so we're just going to cut and paste it. Cut. That information from there, we're going to paste it right here in the column, in the title column. And here's our paste. Boom, it moves. This we don't need at all. I'm not tracking that in my CRM. If you need it, that's great. You can keep it. So we have first name, middle name, which we're not using, last name. We don't take away the middle name though. We just leave this spreadsheet just the way it is. We only put data where we want it to be, but we don't take anything out. So first name, last name, title. We don't have a suffix. I'm not assigning nicknames to people. I don't have a birthday. What I do have here is their company name. This is their company name. So that needs to go right here. So it's not a problem. It's just a matter of cutting it from where it is and putting it where it belongs. So these 3 pieces of information are sitting in the way and they belong further over. So I'm going to cut these out and move them over for 2 reasons. To get them out of the way so we can put this information where it needs to go, and because this information actually belongs further over here. We have a website right here. Here's the website. This first thing that we have in our hands is the website. So we're going to put that, make sure you carry it over on the correct line. We started with line number 6. So the first entry has to always be line number 6, of course. That keeps everybody lined up with the right information all the way down. So we paste. Now the city and state are still not in the right place, but now the website's in the right place and the company spot is open, so we can put the company name over here. And again, we only have from 6 to 27. So 21. We only have 21 records here, but if you had 200 or 300, you would just copy all of them and cut all of this information out and paste it where you want it, which is right here, company name, and paste. Now, let's look back again and make sure everybody's on board. We're all in the right spot. Remember, we started on line number 6. We gave a little breathing room here. So we have first name, last name. Any spaces we're not using, we leave blank. We don't get rid of those columns. Title, suffix we're not using, nickname we're not using, birthday we're not using. Here's company name, job title again. Now, we don't have email right now, but we will get the email. Eventually, as we chat with them and get to know them, we'll get their email, and then we'll just be able to add that into their record in the CRM. Now, I'm using this spreadsheet for Keap, but you can use a spreadsheet like this for any CRM that you're using. I'm sure they all have a pattern that they want you to follow so you can easily import your information. All right, so we have the website in the right spot. The only thing we need is the city and state to go in the right spot. So we're going to cut these. And we're going to move on over to where the city and state belong. Here's the street. Here we go. Here's city and state. We want to be on line 6, remember? Got to be on line 6 when we paste the city, and we can check that we're on the right spot, and then follow with your eyes across until city here. Shoot. city. Okay, so line 6 is Anna at the vet, and city is lined up with 6, and that's where your cursor goes, and then you can paste. There. Now the city and the state are in the right place. All these other columns we're not using, and we can just leave them blank. Now, we have too much space in here, don't we? We can now get rid of these empty lines, including the test line. Get rid of these lines, 2 through 5. I'm going to leave the column titles here. We're going to just delete those lines, and there. Now our data is moved all the way up, and it is lined up and ready. I'm going to save this because you save your work, right? Okay, that's the member call from February 2nd. So I'm saving it. Where did I save it? Downloads, I think. Not really where I wanted to. If you can't remember where you saved it, just hit save as again. It's going to show you right here. This is where you're saving it. And that's not where I want to save it. I'm saving it as an Excel workbook. Since that's not where I want to save it, I'm going to come over here and browse. And I'm going to put it in my documents in my WPN. And I'm just going to leave it the same name. Okay, because that's where I put my WPN stuff, not in the downloads. Now we have our information in the spreadsheet where we need it. So we're going to close the template that we made that's formatted to go into Keap. We're also going to close this one that came from Susan. I'm not going to save changes to this because I hid those columns and I'm done with that now, so I don't need to save that. I didn't really change any data in there. So now when I open that up again, it's going to have those yellow highlighted lines. Now, you go into your Keap or into your CRM, whichever you're using, Kajabi, maybe MailChimp, any CRM that you're using, you would have a different template. I was using the Keap template, but you would have a template that comes from your CRM company. And if you don't understand all this, I can help you with it. Okay. Now, here, contacts. I hit the plus to add a contact. Now I can do one at a time manually, or I can import. So I'm going to import contacts. Import your contacts, pick a source. If you were doing your Google, all of your Gmail contacts or your Google, you would pick that one right there. So all these kinds of software we can import directly. You don't even have to go through all this. You can import directly with all of these. But here's my spreadsheet. Upload my file. So I just have to remember where I put it. Documents, WPN. There's my member call. And it's checking right here. It's checking and it says, what does it say? Good news. All of your fields were automatically matched. That's because I used the template, the spreadsheet. Your data was directly matched. 42 fields. That's a lot. Oh, it's matching fields that I didn't even use though. See, middle name. It's matching every field that was a column in that spreadsheet. So that's why there's 42, because I know I didn't use 42. Okay, so we hit next. And at this point, I'm going to say we can tag our contacts. And this becomes very important. In another video, I'll show you what you can do with people that are tagged. Tagging is a way of putting a marker, an identifier on your contacts, so you can then segment them in later into different activities and send them different information based on who they are and what their interests are. and which of your products they might like to have news about. So tagging is very powerful and wonderful. One last thing, are these contacts expecting marketing emails from you? And I say yes, because they've all agreed through the WPN network. I say yes, because we're all in the organization together. And now I can add a new or existing tag. And I have a lot of tags. I've already made a lot of tags for my contacts. And some of them are for WPN. This was Gold Call. It's actually Gold, Platinum, and Lifetime Member Call, but I just called it the Gold Call. And so I just now, as soon as I hit import, then I'm going to apply that tag to all of my new contacts. I'm also going to apply just the general WPN tag. So they're WPN members, plus they were on a WPN Gold Call. So if I ever put someone in here that's a WPN member, but I haven't had any kind of contact with them on a phone call at all or on a meeting, then they would just get the WPN tag. And you can make all your own tags. You can call them whatever you want. And at least in this CRM, there's no limit to how many tags you can make. Some others probably will limit you, but in this one, you can make as many as you want. And I'm going to click Finish Import. So it just says down here in this bottom corner, it may take a while. And added February 3rd. Today is February 3rd. So I added all of these people just now to my database. Simone Rivers, all of these people. I just now added them, just like that. So in another video, we'll talk about what we can do with that tag that we just now applied to them. If I wanted right now, I could go ahead and send them all. I have their cell phone number, so I can send them a text and say, I was so happy to meet you on that call. That's one of the things that I can do with people when I import them. Thanks for hanging out with me.